Kevin Stefanski full of shit. That's the type of coach that you talk about instilling confidence into your players. How you think that makes Shedeur feel? I don't know who the backup is? Yeah. You got to be kidding me.
How do you not look at firing that guy?
He gone.
That's unacceptable. 7-27, potentially as your record over a 2-season span as an NFL head coach. Mary Kay Cabot said she believes the Browns have no plans to fire Kevin Stefanski going into next season. They think he's 100% totally safe, and they're going to maintain the status quo.
I told y'all.
Fellas.
I told y'all this.
This is nasty. Can he keep his job without playing Shador Sanders this year?
This isn't just about football anymore. This is about pride. This is about ego. This is about a head coach who's allegedly so bothered by a 5th-round rookie quarterback that he'd rather lose with his guy than win with someone else's. Welcome to the Cleveland Browns disaster, where nothing makes sense and everything hurts. Cleveland is burning, the franchise is imploding, and Kevin Stefanski, the 2-time Coach of the Year, the offensive mastermind, the guy who was supposed to be the answer, is watching it all crumble while refusing to pull the one card that might actually save him. His name? Shador Sanders. And if you think this is just another backup quarterback story, another fans want the backup narrative that happens in every losing city, you're not paying attention. Because this runs deeper. This cuts harder. This is personal in a way that transcends football. Like this video if you hate Stefanski. Comment, "Go Stefanski Go," if you support Shedeur. Let's get into the biggest news from Cleveland Browns that has shocked the fans to their core.
Mary Kay Cabot said she believes the Browns have no plans to fire Kevin Stefanski going into next season. They think he's 100% totally safe, and they're going to maintain the status quo.
They think he's 100% totally safe. Status quo maintained. Business as usual. Except there's nothing usual about a 7-27 record over 2 seasons. There's nothing safe about a team that can't beat the New York Jets. There's nothing acceptable about an offense with no pulse, no spark, no life. And sitting right there on the bench, watching this disaster unfold game after game, is Shador Sanders, the 5th-round pick with 1st-round talent, the quarterback who dominated in training camp, the player who balled out in the preseason, the one guy who might actually save Stefanski's job. So why isn't Shador Sanders playing? That's the billion-dollar question. And the answers being floated around the NFL media landscape are more disturbing than any simple football explanation could ever be.
The reason Kevin Stefanski's not playing Shador Sanders is because his job is safe. The only way you can get away with handling this quarterback situation as egregiously as he's handling the quarterback situation, continuing to play Dylan Gabriel, even though the offense has no spark, even though you're losing to the Jets and Justin Fields, even though Dylan Gabriel is airmailing now screens, is because you know you're safe.
Stefanski isn't playing his potential savior because he doesn't feel threatened. He's comfortable. He's protected. He's got ownership backing him no matter what the scoreboard says. And that's when losing becomes acceptable. That's when mediocrity becomes the standard. That's when a franchise dies, not with a bang, but with a whimper.
To me, if Kevin Stefanski had fear of losing his job, he would have been played Shedeur. Brian Daboll was like, you know what? I might lose my job. Here, Jackson Dart. Like, if you think you're going to lose your job, you do move off of the Cats.
It's basic survival instinct. When you're drowning, you grab anything that might keep you afloat. You don't care if it's a life raft or a piece of driftwood, you just grab something and hold on for dear life. But Stefanski, he's not grabbing, he's not reaching, he's not even looking at the life raft that's sitting right there. Think about it. When coaches feel the heat, they make desperate moves. Brian Daboll threw in Jackson Dart when he sensed his job was on the line. Coaches who are drowning grab at anything, and in the NFL, that lifeline is always the backup quarterback. And that's the problem. When losing becomes acceptable, when mediocrity is tolerated, when a coach knows he's safe despite being 7-27, accountability dies, hope dies, the franchise dies.
Continue to roll out Dylan Gabriel, who the fans are tired of seeing.
Shady tired of
The
seeing
team tired of seeing. The public perception and personas are tired of seeing. And his offense is tired of seeing. There's no way you can continue to do this ignorantly if you're not safe. I think.
Now the conversation shifts from football strategy to something much more uncomfortable, something human, something that, if true, represents one of the most unprofessional situations in recent NFL memory.
When you listen to all his pressers, right? He looked depressed every time he got to talk about Shedeur. He looked irritated every time he got to talk about Shedeur. If anybody you know, and every time you talk about him, look irritated every time you talk about, you don't really rock with me like that.
Think about that. Your head coach looks irritated when asked about a player on his own roster. Not disappointed in the player's performance, not concerned about development, irritated, annoyed, like the very mention of the name is an inconvenience. Can you imagine? Your starting QB is struggling, you've got a talented backup the fans are screaming for, and your head coach won't even say his name during press conferences? This isn't speculation about play calling or scheme fit. This is about observable behavior.
He ain't even said Shedeur doing good. We done seen Shedeur ball out in the preseason game. He had nothing good to say. We done seen Shedeur dominate training camp. He ain't had nothing good to say.
Not one word of encouragement, not one acknowledgement, nothing. If true, this isn't coaching. This is something else entirely. Now, let's be crystal clear about something. Dylan Gabriel is not the villain in this story. He's a third-round rookie quarterback trying to survive in the most unforgiving league in professional sports. He didn't ask to be thrown into this situation. He didn't create this dysfunction. But facts are facts. Against the Jets, 53.1% completion, 167 yards. Against the Patriots, 156 yards with 2 interceptions. These aren't winning numbers. Jones dropped another bombshell about the internal dynamics in Cleveland.
Jimmy Haslam, Kevin Stefanski, they're on one accord. Andrew Berry, general manager, he views it differently. I think Andrew Berry, the general manager, he wants Shedeur, that's why he drafted him.
If true, this is organizational dysfunction at its finest. The general manager drafts a quarterback he believes in. The head coach refuses to play him. The owner backs the coach over the GM. That's not alignment. That's not collaboration. That's a power struggle playing out while the team loses week after week.
Jimmy Haslam and Kevin Stefanski, they're cool with whatever Kevin Stefanski does. Stefanski wants Dylan Gabriel. That's why Dylan Gabriel's playing. Only reason he's not playing Shedeur, in my mind, is because he knows his job is safe, bro.
So we've got a head coach who's allegedly secure in his job despite a 7-27 record over 2 seasons, who's reportedly being backed by ownership even as the franchise implodes, who's choosing to ride or die with a struggling third-round rookie rather than give a chance to the 5th-round pick that his own GM wanted. This is how franchises stay broken. This is how losing becomes culture. This is how hope dies.
Do you know how many butts Shedeur is about to put in them seats?
Thank you.
Once his number is called, let him make a couple throws. He about to bring so much excitement back to a Cleveland Browns team that ain't even sniffed the Super Bowl, none of that.
This isn't just about X's and O's. It's not just about completion percentages and quarterback ratings. It's about electricity. It's about giving your fan base something to believe in, something to get excited about, a reason to show up on Sunday beyond obligation and tradition. And that's facts. Shador Sanders is a name. He's got buzz. He's got following. Whether you love him or hate him, you're going to watch when he plays. Amid all this chaos, all this dysfunction, all this speculation, Shador Sanders himself has been nothing but professional.
I think Shedeur is doing a heck of a job of doing his job. You see the young fella training on his own when it's off days. You see his head down. You see him working, right? Even since the whole thing came out, he ain't in the media like that no more.
That's maturity. That's professionalism. That's exactly what you want from a young quarterback in an impossible situation. He's not complaining to the media. He's not demanding trades. He's not causing locker room drama. He's keeping his head down, doing his work, and waiting for his opportunity. Whereas Dylan Gabriel is struggling. The numbers don't lie. The tape doesn't lie. Shador Sanders is sitting on the bench, talented and ready while the season burns down around him. Kevin Stefanski is allegedly secure in his job despite a 7-27 record over 2 seasons. And nobody in the organization seems to care enough to change anything. The only way Kevin can save his job is if he puts number 12 in that game and number 12 balls out and you act like you like him. If that's true, if Stefanski is really making personnel decisions based on personal feelings rather than what gives his team the best chance to win, then this is bigger than football. This is a failure of leadership at the highest level.
You're going to lose your job. You're going to finish this season with 4 wins.
Yeah.
You got Myles Garrett pissed off. You got all these dudes pissed off. He's frustrated at the podium. Put Shedeur out there, bring some excitement to this team, and see what he can do.
The season is lost. The playoffs are impossible. The draft position is secure. There is nothing left to lose by playing Shador Sanders. Nothing maybe except Stefanski's pride. Nothing maybe except admitting that the situation needs to change. And maybe that's what this has been about all along. Not strategy, not development, not protecting a young player. Pride, ego, control. The 3 things that destroy more NFL teams than bad talent ever could. Cleveland is watching their season slip away while a potential answer sits on the bench. Fans are watching their coach appear visibly annoyed when asked about one of their most exciting young players. The national media is watching and wondering how a head coach with this record still has this much job security. Something's got to give. Someone's got to blink. Someone's got to make the decision that prioritizes winning over everything else. Will it be Kevin Stefanski? Will he swallow his pride, ignore whatever personal feelings allegedly exist, and give Shador Sanders a real shot? Or will he ride Dylan Gabriel into a 4-13 season, watch his offense continue to sputter, and hope that somehow his job is really as safe as the reports claim? The answer will define not just this season, but potentially the next era of Browns football. Because if Stefanski won't make the change, somebody else will. Either a new coach next season or a GM who's had enough of watching his draft pick collect dust on the bench. The clock is ticking. The losses are piling up. The frustration is boiling over. It's time to play Shador Sanders. Not next month, not next season, now. Give Cleveland something to believe in. Give the fans something to cheer for. Give this team a spark before the entire season becomes just another year in the long, painful history of Browns disappointment. Or don't, and watch it all burn while the one guy who might have been able to save you watches from the sideline. The choice is yours, Kevin Stefanski. But judging by that 7-27 record, maybe it's time to admit that your choices haven't been working out so well. Time for a change. Time for Shedeur. Time to see if the excitement is real or just hype. Because what you're doing right now, it's not working, and everybody can see it except Kevin Stefanski, the head coach.